Good evening, Zimbabwe, and welcome to Behind the Mic. My name is Yvonne Muchaka, and today we want to take a look at issues making the headlines in the media. And one of those major fundamental issues that has been on the spotlight is the alleged abduction, torture, arrest, and harassment of MDC Alliance or opposition aligned leaders. One of them is Job Wiwa Sikala, who is in hiding. There is a list that was released earlier, and the MDC by the police. This was released by the police to say which of the members they would want to interview, and this has led to a lot of media houses covering the issues. We look at one of these online platforms, the Morning Post, posting that July 31 protest, state force pushes activists into hiding. So we just want to take a look at some of the articles that have been making the headlines in the media. Right. So we have that one. The security apparatchiks. Okay, interesting words. Unfairly targeting known political activists for arrest on trumped-up COVID-19 national lockdown violation charges, MDC Alliance has alleged. This comes after the party's provincial deputy secretary for organizing and party building, Itai Masaka, was arrested in the eastern border city of Mutare on allegations of loitering. Masaka was arrested while shopping around in the city. MDC Alliance provincial spokesperson David Panganai said the arrest was suspicious as he was well within the mandated 5-kilometer radius of his home. We had to pay an admission of guilt fine of $500 to avoid being locked up and placed at risk of contracting coronavirus, Panganai said in an interview with the Morning Post today. He said the arrest could not have been coincidental as all non-opposition and civic society activists are under increased surveillance in the run-up to the planned July 31 anti-corruption demonstrations, as has been said earlier on. So we take a look at what the MDC has said in response. We see that letter from the MDC Alliance Youth Assembly to the Assistant Commissioner of the Police. So we have noted with grave concern a letter published to the public and subsequently a televised publication on the national broadcaster authored by yourself. The publication unscrupulously purports that 14 activists, among them MDC Alliance youth leaders, are wanted for interviews by your organization's Law and Order Department. For the avoidance of doubt, the names attended to on the said publications are 1. Obey Sitole, who is the MDCA Youth Commander, Gift Osalis Sizaba, the MDCA Youth Secretary General, Godfrey Kurawone, the MDCA Youth Organizing Secretary Stephen Chuma, the MDCA Youth Spokesperson Makomborera Haruzivishe, MDCA Youth Secretary for Labor and Social Welfare, Denford Gazuore, the Secretary for Harare Province, and Job Sikala, the MDC Vice Chairperson. Also on the list is Promise Mkwananzi, the leader of Tajamoka, also Obed Masaraure, the Commander Rural Teachers Union, as well as Robson Chere. There's Peter Mtasa, the ZCTU president there, Alan Moyo, the president of the Students' Union, Godfrey Tsenengamo, the Commanders and PF Youth Rebels, and Jim Kunaka, he's an ex-NPF Youth leader. We wish to state that we categorically object to unwarranted behavior in publishing in publishing or causing to be published the above stated names on the national broadcast and various social media platforms. This is tantamount to bad policing, which is not anticipated in a 21st century modern police service. Our youth leaders, together with the other stated activists, are not criminals or terrorists who deserve to be paraded on national and international platforms as criminals. All of our leaders appearing on your list have attended to the Law and Order Department on several occasions, and your organization has their contact details, including those of their defense counsels. Your organization, in no uncertain terms, we wish to state that this behavior makes your police force complicit to tyranny and unconstitutionalism, which stubbornly seeks to uphold what the late national hero Edson Zobo once said, a social legal order in which people live under constant fear of police victimization and abuse. Your force's behavior in this regard is thus illegal, unconstitutional, and abrogable. In as far as it is illegal and unconstitutional, we wish to state that your invitation to our leaders to attend to your uncharacterized interviews is in the same manner as your future illegal directive hereby defied. This is Agency Gumbo and the Secretary for Justice and Legal Affairs of the Movement for Democratic Change Alliance posting that. Earlier we saw one of the youth leaders, Gift Ostala Siziba, posting on his Twitter that just received a call from a known caller saying they are from police and they want to interview me. I told them I'm not looking for a job. ZANU PF must go. Hashtag. So this is what has been going on in the media. There's been so many reports. We have the Youth Assembly spokesperson speaking on various occasions. So we'll look at some of the stories that have made the headlines. 3 more MDCA youth picked up last night. This is a story that has made rounds in the media. Zimbabwe police have escalated their arresting sprees as the regime as the regime's desperate efforts to thwart the Friday mass protest against corruption go into overdrive. The protest was initiated by the detained leader of Transform Zimbabwe, Jacob Ngari Bvume. Police picked 3 Harare South MDC Alliance youth, Emmanuel Mukwemu, Petronella Mapaire, and Trinos Bowie last night from their home. MDCA youth spokesperson Stephen Chuma said that the trio were picked up. We're trying to get hold of Stephen Chuma online so that we can hear more about some of these things that have been happening. Stephen Chuma, how are you? Hi, Stephen, how are you?
Fine, and you?
I'm wonderful. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you.
Okay, brilliant. You are live on Zim Daily News.
Yes.
Yes, so we are talking about the current onslaught on your members as MDC Alliance that you say are continuously being harassed by the police, and we have seen the wanted list from the police where you are also implicated. Could you give us an update on what this means to you as the youth and ahead of the 31 July demonstration? All right. Stephen, are you still there? Hello? Stephen, can you still hear me? Hello?
We said it's not an. We said it is.
Stephen, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Wonderful. Yes, we want to get an update from you. Yes, we want to get an update from you concerning the arrest, the abductions, and what you call an increase in the harassment of MDC Alliance leaders. Can you give us an update on what is going on right now?
Okay. We have said it before that this regime is living in panic.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very clear that the list that they released yesterday, which also included my name, it's a clear sign that the regime is in panic, and for the first and foremost, that is illegal. It's unconstitutional. Because how would you just release money for that
Oh my God, I think we're having a challenge with the network there. Leader,
first place to say your own but the mistakes we have committed in So what is very clear here is that we are dealing with people who are trying to cover up for corruption.
all right. I think we're having a bit of a network challenge here. Leader, can you hear me? What we'll do is we'll try Leader Sarkozy once again, and if we're able to connect with him, then we'll be able to get that interview. Right now, we seem to be having a bit of a network glitch. We continue to look at some of the stories making the headlines in the media around the issue of abductions and continued harassment of MDCA leaders. So we have Honorable Job Sikala posting, sending a letter which he says, to hell with selfishness, says we were from the cold bush. Today in the morning, I received a message from lawyers from our law firm saying, with the money I'm accruing in my practice, why should I bother myself living in the bush this cold winter, organizing people to action? Some pointed out that you are driving good cars and you've got everything you need, which is the dream to others. Let it be known, dear Zimbabweans, that money is not everything we live for. Money in your own pocket means nothing when the whole society you live in can't afford a meal. On a daily basis, I receive not less than 50 requests for either financial aid, food, or other needs from different people. Can we call this life? There are other things more than money in life: happiness, freedom, good governance, a society of choice, rapid economic development, good living, wage for everyone, healthcare for all, education for all, jobs galore for everyone, and many more. Are these things available, dear Zimbabweans? Herbert Chitebo was a successful barrister as the first black advocate at law in colonial Rhodesia. He was appointed Director of Public Prosecutions by the independent Tanzanian government. He was able to take care of himself. He left everything to die in the bush fighting for the equality of everyone. Joshua Nkomo was doing well in various employment fields but could not be satisfied with the way how the majority of his kins were living. Only selfish people care about themselves. Everything is all about them, not anyone. They don't care about the way other people live. They enjoy their own prosperity. To hell with that spirit of selfishness. Happiness for all is a calling to those who understand that a just society is a must for all. Equal opportunities for all is a cardinal principle of life. Yes, there are many living in the leaf suburbs of the north who don't care about the suffering masses. I rejected the life of flamboyance and remained in Chitungwiza as the definition of what Zimbabweans are. I see poverty on a daily basis. I am asked for $1 by everyone I meet. I'm always asked kuti mdara matiregerera. I explain to them that I'm trying my best to fight for you. Please assist me as well. I hope we will all stand up on the 31st of July, 2020 to put things together. Zimbabweans are suffering. Just imagine someone living in the USA, UK, Canada, South Africa who will be demonstrating at the Zimbabwe embassy. The majority of them who are pillars of support to family and friends back home. It is because they feel for us, the oppressed. They've tested democracy and happiness, but we allow fear to reign upon us. I cast out the demon of fear among us Zimbabweans. Out the demon of fear. Let's all speak on the 31st of July. No one should be stopped from expressing our feelings in the state of affairs in our country. So this is a plea put out by Job Wiwasikala, and he said, we don't have to be selfish, as Zimbabweans. We have to come together and end and put an end to the kind of suffering that Zimbabweans are going through. So just a while ago, I received a small video from the bush where Honorable Job Wiwasikala was pouring out to philanthropists who brought him food. So let's see if we can actually hear what he was saying.
Mupunga uyu nedovi neshinga saka muri safe here iko kunoku kwandiri kuona kuti vanhu pacho vanenge vatori neutsvina hapana kumirawo zvakanaka musango.
Ndohondo yacho nairi kundiyo kuti tikarega kuti tirwise varume tinosvika pakufa tose pasina chabuda. Varume ava vadzvanira nyika nguva yarimo. Rwendo runo vanotouraya chaiko chaiko nokuti varume ava they've stolen our youth. Hapana kana chatakamboenjoya vangodzingirana navo nguva nemisi vachizvanyira vanhu vachingorya ivo the national register. Saka kaona chinonyanyifadza nechekuti ndiri kufonerwa kwakunana London. Vanhu vese vokuLondon vakateerera shoko rokuti vanofanira kuti musi wacho iyoyo they must go and besiege our embassies. Navari kuAmerica they are also telling me kuti they will put action musi wa21 musi wa31. Vari kuAustralia nevari kuSouth Africa vese vari kutaura kuti vanenge vachiita action. So kuNamibia ndango vakatonitumira message yokuti mapurisa uko vakatova permission yokuti vademonstrate. Saka zvasarira izvi mahara mazuva macho mashoma kwasara almost support 3 days now. Last day today. I just 28. Saka pasara mazuva matatu che.
Honorable Jimbo.
Pakatinopezelana gwindo runo. Otherwise ndikaengana upenyu hwatiri kurarama. Vanhu munyika muno vari kurarama semuka. Ukaona kwamabva kwese nhamo iri kunhohwa muno maruzevha muno. Chima chena uchikombera upenyu hwamuri kurarama muno makomana. Vari kuHarare vari wese vanongomuka vachingova zvimakona zvemarodi vachirova mishobhodhiya vachingoshita mbanje nokushaya zvokuita. Asi vazhinji vacho vane madhigiri.
Saka honorable
on the basis yokuti vanhu vavo havana mabasa kana chokuita. No, nyika ino yaparadzwa kumana.
Saka honorable chakakusondai kuti mumirire isu zvido zvedu vechidiki Zimbabwe yese, nokuti ndikatarisa ndinoona mune zvinhu zvenyu uye muri gweta rine mukurumbira chaizvo. Chingava chii kuti muzogara musango panzvimbo yakadai?
Inyaya yokuti kurarama kwangu inini hakundi kuti bedzi kana ruzhinji norutende rwamangu ruchitambura. Vana vazhinji muno muZimbabwe kutaura kwandakuitira kuHarare kwandogara. Vana vanongomuka vakamira pamarodzi vachisvuta musongodya banje nokuti kutamira zvasikana kumaprongo asi vazhinji vacho ukatoona vanhu vane madegree so nenyaya dzefrustration noupenyu they end up getting into those activities and so forth. So it would take one man and munhu anoti inspire Fidel Castro akati iye akatanga revolution navanhu vanokwana kuita makumi masere chete vakarwisa mucuba kusvika rusunungo rwaita. So those people have inspired navanhu vakaita sana Mandela that they've given their lives kuti vanhu vavo vasununguke.
All right, so that is Job Wiwa Scala, who was pouring out his heart to philanthropists who brought him food from somewhere in the bushes. Yeah, he looks like somebody who is in the bushes, and that is the message that is given, that Zimbabweans have to stand up and fight for themselves. We continue to look at some of the issues that have been happening. We've seen the Youth Assembly spokesperson, Stephen Chuma. We tried to have him online earlier on, but he was breaking off, so we could not exactly hear what he's been saying. But he's been out in the media talking about the continued harassment, the sad outlook on MDC Alliance youth leaders who continue to be under surveillance from the police, as they want to deal with any uprising that may arise come 31 July 2020. It's a very ominous time. The COVID-19 continues to ravage our community, but more so, people are arguing that they will die first from hunger before COVID-19 gets to them. And one of the major reasons is that there is increased lockdown measures happening, and people are not able to access their workstations. We want to take a look at more information that is coming through that has been released by a variety of MDC Alliance leaders who are in hiding in different spaces, in different bushes, as they continue to call for and push for the hashtag 31 July protest. So we still have Hopo Chingono, a journalist who's behind bars right now and has been denied bail. We also have the Transform Zimbabwe leader Jacob Garuvume, who is also inside and has been denied bail. And we have other voices in the MDC and ZANU-PF, as seen by the list, who have been antagonizing for the 31st of July. And they're calling on Zimbabweans to stand up in their different spaces and demand accountability to corruption and to bring an end to various corruption charges that have been laid out. We continue to look at those issues. Do come through Zimbabwe and tell us what you think is happening at the moment. Give us your opinion, your views. We value all of that right here on Zim Daily. We want to hear what you think. We want to hear what you think Zimbabweans and Zimbabwe must do at such a time as this, and how, as a nation, we ought to build together. After all, this is our Zimbabwe, it is our home. How do we deal with some of the issues that are coming through? So let's look at another video that has that we have also received, and
Revolutionary greetings, fellow young people of Zimbabwe. My name is General Sakos. I'm coming to you in light of a statement by the ZRP yesterday, where they allege that 15 people, including me, we are wanted in connection with what they call interviews. But let me make the record straight here. The only people that can be on the wanted list of any incident in Zimbabwe is 1, Emerson Mnangagwa, 2, Auxilia Mnangagwa, 3, Collins Mnangagwa, 4, Obadiah Moy, 5, Obed Mto, Obed. Revolutionary greetings, fellow young people of Zimbabwe. My name is General Sakos. I'm coming to you in light of a statement by the ZRP yesterday, where they allege that 15 people, including me, we are wanted in connection with what they call interviews. But let me make the record straight here. The only people that can be on the wanted list of any incident in Zimbabwe is 1, Emerson Mnangagwa, 2, Auxilia Mnangagwa, 3, Collins Mnangagwa, 4, Obadiah Moy, 5, Obed Mpo, 6, Patrick Namas. These are the biggest thieves in our land who have looted the national cake on behalf of everybody. Young people in Zimbabwe, we are unemployed, we are suffering, and there are no jobs. Our standard of living is going down every day. Yet there are some people who are eating the national cake on our behalf. And as young people, it's time we stand up. We are saying 31 July, everyone, let's go on road and raise up our voices against this looting regime and say enough is enough. 31 July, we are coming for the drivers of our poverty. We know who are the drivers of our poverty. We know who has stole COVID-19 funds. We know who is making us suffer. And we were very clear that 31 July is going to be a success. As I'm standing right now, I'm deep in rural areas, mobilizing even the rural areas, and the response I'm getting here is very positive. 31 July, 31 July, let us go and challenge this looting system. Thank you.
All right, so that is General Stephen Chuma, who also tried to replay the job one. It doesn't seem to be playing here, so that's fine. We'll continue to look at the stories that that have been making rounds in the media around the MDC youth leaders who are continuously being looked for by the police on the grounds of the hashtag 31 July demonstration. According to Simba Chikanza, he did an article on ZimEye where he was saying ZANU-PF has hatched a sophisticated plot to arrest MDC Alliance President Nelson Chamisa ahead of or even after the upcoming 31 July demonstration. According to a 33-page state security document that lays out the full plan meant to both discredit and apprehend President Chamisa. This is what ZimEye says. The development comes as 2 other plots earlier in the year were foiled at conception after ZimEye exposed them all, one which included the state planting fake terrorists in neighboring Mozambique, 2 doctor trumped up charges against Chamisa. The full 33-page document will be published on ZimEye today. So we look forward to seeing that 33-page document that seems to be implicating and raising a whole lot of issues. A group of MDC members will be arrested and then forced to implicate Chamisa in exchange for their release. To confirm the scheme, by Tuesday morning, the state-owned Herald paper had published below yellow paper. MDC Alliance leader, Mr. Nelson Chamisa, has been suspiciously sucked into the latest swell of residential stands allocation in the capital city amid revelations that the opposition has been stripping the council of land to finance its subversive its subversive intentions and prepare for the 2023 harmonized elections. So this is what the Herald newspaper has been has published today. It's part of its what ZimI calls preparation for the arrest of Nelson Chamisa. So here's the story. Just wanted to get the story for you so that you're also able to see what ZimI is talking about. So MDC Alliance leader Ms. Nelson Chamisa has been sucked into the latest swirl of residential stands allocation scam in the capital city amid revelations that the opposition has been stripping the Council of Land to finance its subversive intentions and prepare for the 2023 harmonized elections. Already over a dozen Harare City Council officials, including the mayor, Councillor Herbert Komba, Human Resources and former Housing Director Matthew Marara, the city's town planner Samuel Nyameze, and surveyor Mnyaradzibo have been arrested on a string of allegations that include criminal abuse of office and corruption. But their arrest could just be a tip of the iceberg of the routine MDC Alliance-run councils countrywide that have been invaded by the party heavyweights to finance their fancy lives, sponsored subversion, as well as set a war chest for the 2023 elections. At the center of the scandal are MDC councillors, Mr. Chamisa himself, his Secretary General, Mr. Charlton Wende, some captured persons in the justice delivery chain, and the councillors who use control of the capital city to blatantly disregard the housing waiting list and make the council of millions of dollars through undervaluing properties. Sources inside council and in the MDCA said there was a resolution that was passed by the opposition party last year that they needed to take advantage of controlling the country's major cities to finance party programs, including the planned July 31 demonstration. Information gleaned from various sources revealed that the only two MDCA councillors who are not involved in stripping the city of land out of the 45 are Mr. Ian Makon of Ward 18 and Ward 4 Councillor Mrs. Tracy Chagarisa, as the party accumulates wealth in what has left the capital with no open space or land banks. Investigations by the Herald also established that because of the elaborate planning from the MDCA hierarchy, a process that could take weeks or months to complete would be done in less than 2 hours, while council resolution could be fast-tracked to ensure those who sold the residential stands, oftentimes who jumped the housing waiting list, had their residential stand in a matter of hours. For instance, Councillor for Ward 16, Denford Gadziwori, got 36 stands in Worsley area where home seekers would be made to pay in US dollars, but the intrinsic value would be paid in local currency. Instead, having 30 residential stands were sold for 30,000 United States dollars, and after getting the money, the MDCA councillors paid $17,000 Zim dollars to council. Stands 1,041 to 1044 in Morningside, measuring 2,000 square meters, were sold for 50,000 US dollars, and 25,000 Zim dollars was paid to Harare City Council. Apart from targeting individuals, the MDCA web of corruption also robbed in companies that were either linked to the party directly or indirectly. Contacted for comment, Mr. Wende said, "I'm not a director of Hayes Construction. I don't own that company. The only company I'm a director of is Twin Star Logistics, based in Namibia." Notwithstanding that they were not on the housing waiting list, the party leaders were also pampered with residential stands. Wow. Mr. Chamisa was allocated a 3,000 square meter stand, number 19740 in Gun Hill. There is no record of payment. His brother Stamin was allocated a residential stand measuring 2,000 square meters opposite the United States Embassy in Westgate in 2019. The stand was only paid for recently. This is despite the fact that he had a stand in Sunningdale allocated on a recreational tennis court. He, however, sold the stand in connivance with Marara. Another beneficiary is Mauricio Zuzwai, who got a stand behind Borodo Police Station, again without following the council processes, said a senior council official in the housing department. As for a comment, Mr. Chamisa's spokesperson, Nkululeko Sibanda, said, "We need to go through what you are saying." With councillors playing both the MDC, then compromised persons occupying positions of influence in government institutions such as the police and the judiciary. Information gleaned by the Herald revealed that top crop senior judicial officials, including those from the Prosecutor General offices and the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, were bought by residential stands, even though they were not on the waiting list. All right, so the issue of the city of Harare coming in as part of the plot towards the 31st of July 2020, and what the Herald seemed to be implying that the MDC is using the council as part of its financing scheme. Interesting. We continue to look at some of the issues that have been raised. There are a number of people who have been abducted. We want to take a look at the story that Sarkozy, the MDC Youth Assembly, the MDC Youth Assembly spokesperson wrote about. So there's this story which was a bit disturbing from yesterday, and says MDC Alliance Youth murdered for challenging partisan food distribution. This is coming through from the MDC Alliance Youth Assembly. So I'll just read it as it is, and as we continue to interrogate, do come through on this platform with your views and comments on what is happening. MDC Alliance Youth Mazwing Lovu, son to former MDC Bulilima East Ward 2 Councillor Nsongelwa Ndlovu, was viciously attacked and killed in cold blood by a member of the ZRP Neighborhood Watch for questioning partisan food distribution by ZANU-PF councillor. Ndlovu was killed over the weekend by a ZRP Neighborhood Watch named here Boy Moyo after questioning the known ZANU-PF member one Bebe over partisan food distribution from donor aid. Matabeleland South is one of the drought-prone areas, and this year is not an exception. Hence, people depend much on food relief, usually donated by non-governmental organizations. Sadly, over the years, ZANU-PF abuses its influence in the province to deny opposition supporters equal access to food aid. Under the government of MDC Alliance, equal access to food for all remains our priority. Meanwhile, the MDC Alliance Youth Assembly will deploy peace monitors to ensure equal access to donor aid, especially during this trying time when the majority are facing starvation. MDC Alliance Youth national spokesperson sent us that. So we have an MDC Youth Alliance member allegedly murdered for questioning how food aid was being distributed. We also have another statement that was issued from the Youth Assembly that says more horror details on abduction of MDC Alliance Youth emerge. So fresh details to the gruesome torture of MDC Alliance Youth Assembly National Executive Member Takunda Madzana has emerged. Madzana was subjected to intense inhuman treatment and torture by state agents. He was forced to take off all his clothes before being thrown into a dam. The torture executors then went on to use an electric shocker on his body, including private parts, in a bid to force Madzana to divulge information as to who was making #ZANU-PF must go masks. As if that was not enough, the abductors attempted to inject him with an unknown substance. As we have said in our last statement, it is high time we fight fire by fire, especially on abductions. The regime has failed us as citizens, hence it's time we take the initiative to protect ourselves. We shall not relent. Stephen Sarkozy Chuma, MDC Alliance Youth Assembly National Spokesperson. Now, this is look, let's continue to get the conversation going around the issue of abductions, the issue of MDC members being forced into hiding ahead of the 31 July protest, as a list of people was released earlier on by the police to say who must come to the police for questioning. So MDC Alliance Youth Battling for Life After Night of Horror, that is the Bulawayo executive member of the MDC Alliance National Youth Assembly, Takunda Madzana, who was said to be battling for life after a night of horror at the hands of state agents ahead of 31 July protest. Now, why are these cases on a rise remains a question that will baffle a whole lot of people. Is the July 31 protest a demonstration of what does that mean to the state when the state listens to its people say they want to demonstrate against corruption and all the other things that have been listed as what the people want to protest against? What is the response of the state, and how is this response in line with the constitutional provisions for the people to be able to demonstrate? We tried to have a conversation with the youth assembly spokesperson. Unfortunately, the network was rather poor, but all the same, we will continue to have conversation around these issues, because at the end of the day, we want to be able to build the Zimbabwe that we can all be proud of. In Masvingo, we had a case being reported of soldiers marching in the CBD ahead of the protest. And there's a whole lot of things that are happening in our neighborhood. We would want to hear what is going on in your own areas. Do come through on our Facebook page, on our Twitter page, or even on our YouTube channel at Zim Daily, and let's have a conversation around this this topic that we are talking about. So we'll be back shortly. Right now, we just want to take a short break, and when we come back, we will go deeper into this issue that we are talking about. We'll be right back. All right, so welcome back. We take a look at some of the video that we spoke about soldiers march in CBD ahead of 31 July demonstrations.
Yes, yeah. Stand up. Yeah.
All right, so it could be mere training, but who knows? Who knows here in Zimbabwe, the way things have been going on, nobody really knows what's up. So we hope and we hope whatever is happening in our country is such that it builds our nation rather than further disintegrate it. We want to be able to enjoy our Zimbabwe together. Thank you so much, Zimbabweans. Thank you so much for joining me today on the spot as we look at more issues making the headlines and going into the story behind the story. We continue to come back to you live on Zim Daily page. Continue to like our page, share the links with others, and also invite more people to our page as we talk issues that are affecting us on a daily basis. Thank you so much, Zimbabweans. Thank you, all of you, for joining me. And let's continue this conversation. Is Zimbabwe headed somewhere? Hashtag 31 July. It's on. What is it that it wants to achieve? What is it that you as a Zimbabwean desires out of it all? I know everybody wants to be complaining in their corner, but what are you complaining about? And after your complaints, how are we going to sort the mess that Zimbabwe is in? What is your role? What is the role of your young person in your home? What is the role of this society? And what role does the government have to play? Were the government prepared to listen to the people, would we get to where we are? Food for thought there as I take my leave today. My name is Yvonne, and I do hope we continue having intelligent conversations around the issues that matter to us the most, and hopefully we'll be able to sit down one day around the table and agree on the way forward for our nation. Do we have a national vision? Do we have what binds us together? What is it that brings us together? Can we identify that and come and build our nation? What we have seen with the farm mechanization program is discouraging. What we continue to hear in the parliamentary portfolios is discouraging. The things that we continue to see on a daily basis is discouraging. What needs to be done, and what can you as a Zimbabwean do in order to ensure that we get to achieve the Zimbabwe that we want to achieve? This is On the Spot with me, Yvonne. Hope you have a blessed evening. God bless you, and thank you so much for joining us.